The karate. Wah, wah.
This nigga's crazy.
Welcome everybody to Red G Fox. And on today's, just like the opening, oh my gosh. You know, fun fact about that opening, just in case you're new to the channel or you don't really want to watch the channel, you'll learn something new right here. That scene actually was improvised, ad-libbed by Red Fox. He actually said that in response. That wasn't the original response. And the audience laughed so hard and so long that it took, I want to say 6 minutes before they finally calmed down. And then at the end, one of the audience members, when you can ask questions, said, hey, are you guys going to leave that scene in? Right? Because it wasn't planned. And the writers and producers were there, and the director, they're like, hey, I don't know. You know, it was a big hit. What do you guys say? And the audience almost unanimously said, yes, leave the scene in. So we have the audience to thank for that, and Red Fox, just for that funny clip right there, which has gone down as one of the funniest scenes in Sanford and Son history. But that's what we're talking about today. Not funny scenes, but memorable characters. This is part of our round 2 of our best one and done characters in Sanford and Son history. Now, it'll be mini rounds. We're going to have 4 opening rounds and then take the winners from there to continue on. We have so many people. There's a lot of people. Eventually, I'll even tell you in a later episode who was left on the floor, because honestly, some of these characters, we know who it's going to come down to in the end. You got to know it's going to be Big Money Grip, Osgood Wilcox, Gus from The Guest in the Yard, maybe the 3 Degrees. You know, it's going to be someone who's like really big time and very memorable. I mean, Hucklebuck's on this list. And as much as he just had a few lines, and he was so memorable and impactful, kind of like Gus, who lost the first round to Gus. I'm sorry, the Moose lost the first round. But it's just one of those guys. So we have a lot of people to go through. Today, we will focus on round 2, the 4 characters from it. Starting off at 18% right now in the vote. And that is the man. They give him his last name in there, but he's the man, the very elegant man, in the Piano Movers.
Now, would you like some help?
Remember that guy? Oh my gosh, how could you not? In that episode, what I like about him is that he's very defending of Fred. He doesn't remember he calls out Lamont, like, hey, you shouldn't do this. Why do you make your father work like this? I don't like the way you talk to your father. He almost reminds me of Olaia, how she sets him straight on African culture.
War stories.
Your son. You mean you brought your father to help you?
Say, listen, I already told you that I'm going to do most of the lifting.
Well, it's none of my business, but shouldn't he be retired?
Yeah, you'd think so, after all I did for my country and my son.
This guy is telling Lamont, hey man, he's old. He should be taken care of. You should be doing the work. You should hire someone else. And I know they can't, and it's Fred's business, but he really does defend Fred as much as Fred doesn't want him leaning on his shoulder or to touch him. Oh my gosh. And then I love the exchange when Fred's sitting down. He's like, hey, hold on. You know, talking about his wife. Oh my gosh. The exchange between them, just his mannerisms, how polite he is and very high class, sophisticated, and his laugh.
If you really must know, our marriage wasn't working, so we separated, and now I have a whole new way of life, which I prefer. Is that all right?
That's what I want to ask you about. Come here. That's what I want to ask you about, that whole new way of life.
Who could forget his laugh? When he's on the phone talking, I want to say French. And then he speaks German as well.
Ja, der Krieg. Schreck, dass wir alle das durchmachen müssen. Aber sie sind halt die Menschen seit Anfang der Zeit. Schrecklich, schrecklich.
And he's got and Fred's like, hey, I want to know all about that whole new way of life. So the episode has so many memorable, funny parts, and he's a huge, huge part. You know, we've seen some characters like Moose, we talk about, where they're in a small amount, have one line. He had a lot of lines. He had a lot of interaction with Fred and Lamont, and was a huge, I keep saying huge, because it was big impact in that episode and in Sanford and Son history. So he's at 18% right now, in second place in round 2. Now let's get to the next one, and that is Junior Joe Louis. You know, you got to put him in there, because anybody knows when we talk about boxing, or if we see Barry Wright, he's been at least 4 other characters in Sanford and Son, and then he was a bailiff in the show Sanford. He was one of the buddies. There's a whole bunch of rumors about him, like maybe he could have been Red Fox bodyguard, all sorts of things. But either way, his character, number 1, is always Junior Joe Louis. People like him the most. I like him as the chef in the episode where Fred goes to work at the restaurant, and he keeps saying, calling him out there, right? And he's got his cleaver, and he's threatening Fred not to quit. But back to Junior Joe Louis. In it,
This is Junior? If this is Junior, I'd hate to see Senior.
From carrying a giant tub on his head, he's got memorable scenes where he's doing jump ropes inside the room, in the living room, and he's destroying stuff everywhere he goes. And his lines are always just eat, you know, work out. He just repeats everything. And that's what I like about him, that he's got very minimal lines, but they're funny. He thinks there's a glazed donut, and Fred gets the final knockout on him when he punches him and he does the uppercut. So Junior Joe Louis, maybe he didn't do as much funny stuff, right? Other than him just always going, eat, and then he sucker punches Lamont. But he's still a very memorable character, and he had to be on this list. He has to be on there. And like I said, 13%. So he's got some votes. You got to remember, these tournaments for us usually get anywhere from 400 to 700 votes. So that's a lot of people who still felt, hey, he was more impactful than our first guy, the man in the piano movers, from 18%. So that's it on Junior Joe Louis. Doubt he'll win, but it doesn't look like he's going to get last place. He could even maybe squeeze in there second place, as he was very memorable, as well as the episode. Let's get to, we all know who the favorite is.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Be of good cheer. Osgood is here.
We saw him at the beginning of the episode, and that is Osgood. Be of good cheer. Osgood is here. When he walks in, his voice, we know the actor, but his voice as Osgood, it's like I can just listen to him talk all day. And I love when he sits there and he's like, talk. That's all people do, talk. I hate it. I hate talking.
You know what I hate about it? All the talking. Talk.
Fred's like, well, I love talking to Donna. He's like, Donna's different. I enjoy talking to Donna. I mean, you can just listen to him. I can listen to him read a phone book. That's just his own voice. Then his charm, his personality, everything he does in that episode, from beating him, Fred, and arm wrestling. And that really shocked me. Even as a fan watching every time, I'm like, hey man, Fred, we know he can arm wrestle, right? We've seen him. I still think he beat him, but the majority of our votes, people said no, he let him win. But when he arm wrestled Big Lou Turner and he beat Lou, either way, I thought, Fred would beat him. And he doesn't. He loses to Osgood Wilcox, which shows Osgood's stronger. Osgood looks like he's in better shape. He jumps on the floor, and Fred's like, I ain't going on that floor. He's all, because you can't do it. And he's all, no, because I know what's been on that floor. The back and forth between them, and even Lamont standing there. And Lamont, once again, is a little poker. Hey, I have to admit, he's stronger than you, Pop. I have to admit, he's better than you, Pop. He's doing anything he can just to antagonize him, because he doesn't want to be with Donna. But we know the biggest scene, which we already talked about, is when Osgood gets up and he does ha, karate, and then Fred, of course, does the line. And then he's ready to take off. And part of me wonders, as it's a side character of the show, did he want to really fight? Because as soon as Fred says, all right, put him up, Tommy Rock, yeah, I've whooped him too. As he wants to fight, he's like, Donna, I'm leaving. He wants to take off. So there's so much. That is a top 10 episode. We did that on our channel, and I didn't get any flack for that. Everyone agrees it's a top 10. So we know Osgood's probably going to win this. And like I said, he's at 63%. He could have even gone up since this video was posted, but heavily favored. But 63%, that still means there's hundreds of people that voted for other people as well. I just think he's the majority. He's not going to be everyone's, but he's going to be majority here. As Wilcox did so many things and I love when he's drinking a good sherry. I mean, every scene with him, he has a one-liner, a memorable line, a line someone can quote. You'll probably see it in the comments of this video, where you're just going to see the comments busting out, as well as the polls when we're voting for it. You can see the comments for Osgood coming up left and right, because he has so many. He has a big grip, no pun intended, but he's got a big grip of comments on there, or one-liners in the show, and we love Osgood Wilcox. So let's get to the last one. I didn't think he'd be popular, but I had to put him in there because he is a memorable character, and that is Norman. They call me King. That's his nickname, King. But Norman.
Any burglars break in and try to steal something? Well, they see this bear and it scares them. See? It's a watch.
In the episode where Fred hires him, and Lamont goes to work for, not Goldstein. Anyways, Baxter. He works for Baxter down the street. In that one, he meets him, and from the very moment, I love the way he's calling him Pops. He's like the young hip guy, and the interaction with Fred and him is really good. And how Fred's like, don't call me Pops. Or when he shows him the driver's license. The line there where Fred, right here.
Gee, Monetti, you sure take an ugly picture. Oh, well, that's because it was early in the morning. Listen, when you this ugly in the morning, you that ugly at night.
And then how Fred even says, he's like, I think that's so good how he says that. He's like, man, gee, Mo Nini said, if you're this ugly in the morning, you're this ugly at night. That's so great. And he doesn't take, and what I love about Norman's character is that he's tough. He can knock him out, but he just lets Fred say his thing, almost like he's got a sign of respect for him, that he's like, hey, I'm not going to, also he's his boss, so smart. Unlike this generation, that probably would have recorded a video of him knocking his boss out, but that's neither here or there. So he goes up there, and then from when Fred goes to pay him with real bread, and he takes it, and then he's like, hey, come outside and say that, Pops. And the best, we all know him as this, as, actually, you know what, the most common thing, it's kind of a sad thing, is I know him more as TC, right? So when I hear Norman in Sanford and Son, I go, oh, you mean TC from Magnum PI? That's what I always think of him. But in Sanford and Son history, you see that I always remember the yellow sleeveless shirt, his little cap on his head, and his huge arms. And he gets the watch bear. That's got to be the biggest thing for him. And that's what people have said too when we talk about Norman. We did the episode breakdown for that one. They were like, watch bear, Norman, King. So he's very memorable. He only is at 8%. We might see, maybe we'll see if he jumps up a few percents here and there. We still got until I think next Tuesday or Wednesday. It's a 7-day tournament for the round to get all votes in. So that's it with the 4 main guys. We got to believe it's Wilcox. Now it's a battle of, because as the rounds go on, after the opening 4 rounds, we're going to have who goes next. We'll have a couple of the top guys who finish second try to get a second chance at maybe some of the other ones. So it's going to be a fun tournament. It's going to take several months. And then we'll also have a tournament about the best episode of Season 2 when we get close to finishing Season 2 in about another month and a half. So this channel's got a whole lot going on. We're going to have the game show. I'll have that video up probably by this weekend. So you're getting 3 videos a week. You're getting shorts nearly every night. And you're getting quizzes, polls, and just fun stuff. So if you are a Sanford and Son fan, I really hope you subscribe, because this is a channel to where you might not get a full episode. You might just get a handful of clips. And I apologize. I know some people will comment, hey, this is ridiculous. You just talk. All you do is talk. But the thing is, that's all we can do. If I just show episodes, the channel, it'll just get blocked. If I show huge clips, it'll just get copyrighted and blocked. So I can only show a little bit. I hope you understand that. I would love to just show nonstop clips and talk about them all, but I'm unable to do that to an extent. So subscribe. This is for everybody that loves the show, that, you can go watch it, stream it, something, but you want a community to talk with and share with. This is it. So have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Round 2, get your votes. Go to our channel, go to our community page, and vote for who you want. I mean, heck, who is it? The piano mover, Junior Joe Lewis. The biggest upset would be if Junior Joe Lewis came out and won this. I think he'd be bigger upset than Norman if he did. But thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Give me your thoughts in this. What are your thoughts on it? Who is your favorite? And we'll see you next time on the game show coming up. I already got the questions done. Gonna film that one in a little bit. Talk to you later. Peace.
Well, let's get this over with.